All right, here we are, part 2 of Mr. John. Meet John, everyone. And you know what? I told myself driving up here, I will see almost $250,000 of vehicles in your driveway.
Well,
just about, right?
Just about.
So if you remember, a month ago, I came to his house to interview him about the real world problems that he found out that he was about to endeavor, which is he had a Model X. It was over 100,000 miles. Nothing wrong with it, but he decided to get another car because, as he said, when cars are over 100,000 miles, they tend to have little problems here and there. So he wanted to eliminate that. So he went out and bought a used Mercedes EQS, which had about 3,400 miles on it, used. And he was saying that he was going to keep it for a while because he put a down payment on the Lucid. Now, he thought the Lucid was going to be months out, maybe even a year out. But to his surprise, shock, and dismay, Lucid called him up and said, "We got your car ready." So John, being a good guy, said, "Okay." And he accepted the car, which you see right here. So you may ask, why am I standing here? Because he still has this Mercedes vehicle right here. And then he has the Tesla Model 3 right here. And he's still smiling. He is still smiling. So real world problems are true. If you don't think anything else could go right or wrong, this is a case study on, I don't know. I just ... So, do you think you shot a little too early and potentially getting rid of your Tesla Model X?
No.
Okay.
Pretty sure that the resale market wasn't going to get any better. And timing wise, I'm finding out that used car prices are going down substantially. So after some haggling with the dealer that had this used EQS, I think I got a pretty good deal on my trade-in.
Right.
And it wouldn't have been any better if I'd have held on to it.
Yeah.
And it might have been more hassle because I would be trying to sell my X myself on the secondary market.
True.
Because Lucid doesn't take trades.
So have you had any bites on this car yet?
There are a few folks that are interested. I may have priced it high, but that's okay. I'm not desperate. I'm not, trying to get it out the door. Still has a year and a half of free charging with Electrify America. I've got solar panels, and it's cheap for me to charge at home, but nothing beats free.
Right.
So I charge both my Lucid and my Mercedes at Electrify America. That's 3 miles down the road. We've done road trips in both of them.
Right.
I get a lot of comments on Facebook about folks saying, "You'll never beat the Tesla Supercharger network."
Right.
Well, they're wrong, because when you combine all of the competitors out there, Electrify America, ChargePoint, EVgo, and there are a few others, I think they outnumber the Tesla Supercharger stations. And it might be this area. I don't know about Des Moines, Iowa, or South Mississippi, but in Northern Virginia, I've got no range anxiety.
So I'm pretty sure some Tesla people are yelling at the screen right now.
Yeah.
And I'm a Tesla owner, so you see my car in the background there. But what would you say to people who ask, well, although what you said is probably true, but you can't beat the Supercharger network because it charges, does it charge faster versus Electrify America if you're charging?
So it's car dependent. This Lucid is supposed to be able to take 350 kilowatts and gain 300 miles of range in 15 minutes. Now that's a very narrow circumstance. You have to run the battery down to below 5%. You have to precondition the battery before you get there.
Right.
The best I've ever seen it do is 290 kilowatts. And none of the 3 Teslas I've ever owned got above 150 kilowatts.
Right.
So the newer cars charge faster, and I'm sure there are folks out there with Plaids that'll tell me, "Oh no, my Plaid will take 350 kilowatts." I don't doubt it. I just know that especially the Mercedes will stay constant at 200 kilowatts of charge.
Right.
And it charges pretty fast. I've never spent more than 30 minutes to go from 20 to 90%. And I know a lot of people say only charge at 80%, save the battery. I think 90% is pretty safe. I did it on my X. I do it on my Y. I do it on my 3. So all of my cars get charged at 90% just because I want that extra mileage.
Right. And my 2015 in the background there, I charge it at 90% because Tesla told me.
Right.
When I met John, I told him I had the pleasure of going to the Lucid Grand opening up at our world famous mall called Tyson's Corner. And I did not see this color on the floor, although I did see the color options on a desk. So what color is this car?
So they call it Zenith Red. But when
Zenith
people ask me
Red.
what color is my car, I tell them it's a burgundy. And if it's in a parking garage, it almost looks purple.
Right.
And it's not a color shift. It is one of their 5 colors that are available on the trims between Touring and Grand Touring. But like you, I went by Tyson's and they had one of these on the floor, and I'm like, this is great. I'm closer to getting my goal. And they're like, well, it doesn't have the massaging seats in it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have the rear and side window shades in the back. And they kept going down the list. It doesn't do 500 miles of range, and it doesn't have the 800 horsepower. And I'm like, well, why would I spend $95,000 when if I added all those things together,
Right.
might as well just get one of these.
Right.
Oh, and the Dream Drive and the sound. There are enough upgrades between the Touring and the Grand Touring. And on the outside, you wouldn't know it. You couldn't tell by looking at it, except for a tiny little label
I
that's
saw
right
that.
on the
I
edge.
saw that. I did cheat, and I did see that when I was saying which one is this. I saw that. Yes.
So if you order a $95,000 Touring, it'll look just like this, except it won't say Grand.
So some things that you like about the car on the outside.
All right.
Well, first off, it's unique. You
It
just
is
cannot
unique.
beat that.
And something that someone had pointed out is they've actually molded the spoiler into the trunk. So
Okay.
I added a spoiler to my Y and my 3, but this it's molded in. The EQS has a body colored spoiler that's added, and I just think it was kind of unique the way that they just built it into the car.
Right.
It's almost like they knew everyone's going to want a spoiler on their car, so we're just going to build it
Just
in.
going to build it in. Yeah.
People have harassed me because I don't always take the biggest tires or the biggest wheels.
Okay.
I love these 19-inch wheels. I think they're attractive, and a lot like the Teslas, they're removable inserts. I just got the covers for the lug nuts, so I'm going to pull these off. I'm going to put a center cap and lug nuts on them.
Right.
Because I kind of think it looks better without these black arrow inserts on it.
Yeah. I think so.
So that's something that I get to do this weekend. I got to clean up my my wheels real good. And
Did the car come with the P0s?
yes, these are standard.
Pirellis?
And they are specifically made for electric. I believe they are.
Don't tell me that. Really?
Yeah, and I believe they are foam filled.
What?
Very quiet, rolling down the road.
I like that because I'm due for new tires. I got P0s on mine. I got
Yeah.
Pirelli, so I might have to go with that.
Let's see, the other thing I kind of like, I was surprised. I thought it would be a brushed aluminum roof because in all of the pictures online, it looks like a stainless steel brushed aluminum or whatever.
Right.
It's actually painted, and I think it's a Cosmos silver paint color. So I haven't seen a Cosmos silver body yet, but I'm kind of curious to see if it's an actual paint match. I really like the way the sleek little door handles are. Someone said they feel a little toy-like. I think they're nice, they're sleek, and when it just takes, they're electronically actuated.
Yeah,
so there's movement there.
Go.
And then of course, when you lock the car,
Yeah.
the door handles fold away, which gives it the
Right,
0.023 drag coefficient. So this car is tied with the Mercedes EQS for lowest drag coefficient on a production
Look
car.
at you just spit those numbers out.
Car that uses a CCS adapter covers the lower two.
Right.
This it just leaves it exposed.
Right.
So if you're doing a slow charge in my garage, you only use the top plug.
Yeah.
But of course, at any of the commercial chargers, you're going with a CCS and getting at least 50 kilowatts. I wouldn't stop at a charger if it wasn't 50 kilowatt at least.
Right. Well, you're correct. That's a good observation because these two are normally covered,
Yep.
but I think probably someone said in Lucid potentially that cover, that little flap could fall off or get dislodged from the car. So just get rid of that part. This is a beautiful car. I mean, it is stunning. I never would have thought they would call it anything in red in its title, but this is truly stunning. And look at the lights. The lights. Ooh, wow.
Yeah, so
look
when it
at
lights
that. Oh,
When it lights up, it comes on.
wow. That is
So they're
awesome.
projector headlamps.
Yep.
And the way it's designed is there's an airflow that cools the fins on the headlamps by blowing air out across the top of the roof.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I don't like, exactly like my Teslas, I had this car for a week when these two rock chips showed
Oh,
up.
man.
And I asked them if there's touch-up paint, and they said, well, it hasn't been invented yet, or they don't sell it yet. So I am gonna get the touch-up paint. I'm gonna have the same guy that put the ceramic coating on my EQS
Yep.
put a ceramic coating on, and hopefully that'll protect it.
Yeah, yeah. Did I tell you that I saw the prototype when it came to Capitol Hill back in 2017?
Yeah.
And it's pretty much still on point. I mean, maybe little small changes like the rear seat used to telescope,
Yeah.
tilt back, but they said no, the National Highway Transportation said nope, that's not going to happen. Since we're standing in the front of the car, let's take a look at the front, if there's any front space.
So I think you'll be impressed.
When I was at the grand opening, when I
all
was at,
automatic.
oh my God.
And it looks small until you remove the separator.
Wow.
So I picked up my sister from the airport, and her checked luggage fit down in that section.
Wow. Now, I started to say during their rollout, they refused to open the front at Tyson's.
Yeah,
And
that's
everybody
right.
was like, what's going on? I want to see the inside.
I
So,
don't think it was ready for prime time,
okay.
but
So you got your washer fluid there.
Yeah.
Again, electric cars, only fluid you have is that you can, actually do something with. And then you have, what is this here?
so that's a warning label. I think if there's a car accident and the emergency responders need to cut the high voltage, it tells them where to go. And you can actually see through the vents here that the airflow comes across the top of the headlamps.
Yeah, wow. 2 hooks
Yeah.
instead of the one that I have. And Tesla has only one. Am I
Yep,
correct?
Yep, Tesla has a center mounted
Yes,
hood
yeah.
latch. The key fob is kind of unique. It's equally unique and frustrating. So there are no visible buttons.
Right.
It's a single button in the middle. A long press opens the front.
Okay.
A short followed by a long press is supposed to open
The
the
trunk.
clamshell trunk.
Okay.
And then same thing to close it, short followed by long. And then I always confuse myself. It's either a single click to lock. It is a single click to lock.
There you go.
And then a double click to
unlock.
unlock. Manual trunk latch, and then of course the key fob trunk latch. So just like the front, I think they did a pretty good job making it look nice and pretty. It's I've got a cover that I pulled out of my Y because I don't want to scratch up or tear up.
Right.
So you've got 2 side compartments. They gave me the front license plate mount. The guy says, I don't know why you'd want to put it on because it makes the car look uglier. And I'm like, it's the law.
Well, the
isn't
state
it?
of Virginia would differ.
I'm like, it's the law. And they're like, yeah, but here it is. When your plates come, you can put it on.
Right. Wow.
So unlike the Mercedes, Lucid provides a home charging setup.
Oh, look at this.
I haven't used it yet,
Right.
but I think it's very much like what Tesla offers, except Tesla doesn't give you a wall mount. So here it's Lucid, and I imagine that lights up. I've never put it together because I've already got a setup.
Yep.
It comes with an NEMA 240 and the standard 15 amp. And then they give you a cable wrap and a mount. So
Wow.
I think Lucid wanted to take an extra precautionary step. And then I guess these are the screws that go into the mount. Lucid did just have a press release. It said that they're going to start selling their home charger at $1,200. And at first I was like, that's just crazy talk. I don't want to spend it. If I keep this car, I'm going to buy it because the Lucid has a Wonder Box, which makes it bi-directional. So my 118 kilowatt battery will backflow and charge my house if I ever lose power.
Yes.
And my solar panels are covered with snow.
Yes.
And it would really just supplement the power walls that I already have. So after I thought about it, it's a justifiable cost to have bi-directional or vehicle to home or vehicle to grid charging capability.
Yeah, and this car can charge another Lucid. Am I correct?
Yes, but I haven't seen the cable or the equipment. I've heard the Ford F-150 Lightning also.
Yep, that's
will
what
charge.
I've heard. Yep, that's what I've heard.
But yeah, this Wonder Box allows bi-directional flow.
That's going to be the new standard.
I hope.
That's going to be the new. For those who don't have a power wall, hey, those who don't have a generator, hey.
Yeah.
Buy this car here and don't worry about it. Take all that into one loop. Oh my goodness gracious.
So on the door itself, while you're looking at it, there's 4 different surfaces. So the top is a smooth, soft touch leather.
Yes.
And then down below that is like an Alcantara suede.
Yes, like mine, yes.
And then you've got a fabric, and I think they were trying to be totally earth friendly, so that fabric is probably made from a recycled cotton. I do believe the carpets are a recycled llama wool or alpaca wool.
Jesus.
So they were very earth friendly, and there are places where you'll look around and you'll see the California bear.
Yes.
So those 4 surfaces kind of round out the inside.
I tell you, they didn't skim on the elegance of this car.
Yeah.
And to include the seats, we haven't even talked about the seats. They're
Well,
perforated here.
yes, the perforated, heated, massaging seats, and the seat controls are more dynamic than any that I've seen. I've never had a headrest that I can move back and forth, but you can adjust your headrest so that, I guess if you're a hunchback or a so that's a passenger seat.
Is that a hunchback of Virginia Tech or Notre Dame?
Could be the hunchback of any sophisticated facility of higher learning. But seat position, seat height, seat recline, give you a little lumbar support, and you can feel it moving up and down and coming out into the middle of your back. If you're a wider guy or a thinner guy, you can move those bolsters.
I like the side bolsters.
I like them in too because
carrying that darn rucksack for 21 years.
Yeah,
crushed my back.
They just hold you tighter. So, but there's something that a lot of seats don't have is a thigh support. So, if you wanted your legs to be a little better supported, the seat actually extends.
Yeah, this is actually
so that
moving,
it supports your thighs.
I know it's tough to see on camera, but it actually moved outward or frontward. I'm sorry.
5 different massage settings.
You love this massage stuff.
I do love the massage stuff.
This was your longest part in the last video.
Well, this is why I upgraded to this car. I'll take the extra money to make sure that
John,
that I get what I need.
I'm tapping out.
I drive about 100 miles a day.
My booty.
It's 3 to 4 hours a day. I'm sitting in the car.
Right.
So I
take advantage of it.
I don't complain about my commute anymore. That's for sure.
You take advantage of it. Right.
But the car, pretty much a technological marvel, and then this pilot panel will actually move out of the way. And I usually keep a couple bottles of water in there.
Wow.
It's got a couple of cup holders, but I think they're just too small. That's my one complaint is
they do look small.
You can't put a big gulp in there. Not that I'm a fan of big gulps. And I also keep a cable. They've got USB-C and the standard USB. So you can charge 2 different types of devices on 2 different cables. But this is a wireless phone charger.
Wow.
But my phone won't fit in there because I've got a giant Samsung Galaxy Fold and it just won't fit. It's kind of nice and clean when all of this closes up.
So here's your reference to the California bear right here.
Yeah, there's one. So there's a little change cubby, that's what I think it is. And then there's a little more room down here Could probably fit another bottle of water there. Yeah. There's California bears on the backs of the seats.
Oh, look at that. That is so cool.
So they were telling me that this is called the Tahoe interior, and the front was designed darker because it's expected to be used more and it'll wear better. But they made the back a lighter color because it won't get as much wear and tear.
Right.
I just think it looks good. It's a good color combination.
This is great to have multicolored seats, and it breaks up the monotonous of
Right.
it. You know.
Navigation. The map looks pretty good. With this update, it loads much faster. It used to take 10-15 seconds for maps to load. You get options, so if you wanted, work the car stuff, you can slide the map out of the way. You still have a map up on your glass cockpit.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't want
That's
to talk
all right.
over you. So this is all one. So you see, like we in almost like a cul-de-sac right there.
Well,
right?
we're actually over here, but the cul-de-sac is next door.
Right. So
Yeah,
if
so
you
one
look all the
block
way
over.
down, so this is the extended map
Right.
of what we're seeing. I got you.
And you can make them match. There's an option to turn on instead of the... So now I get to see a much bigger area, but it's the same map resolution. It has a pretty nice feature where, based off from how much charge you got, it'll tell you how far you can go.
That whole blue area, that's your
it.
limit.
I can go all the way through there. And then, of course, the best part is, I talked about it earlier. So right now I've got it filtering only Electrify America chargers. So I see 11 in this region.
Right up here,
But if I turn off the Electrify America, because they're free, it goes up to 36, I think, is the top I see there. So that includes the EV Goes, the charge points, and all of the Electrify Americas. Now, off the top of my head, I don't think Tesla has 36 supercharger stations in this area.
Not in this area, no. In California somewhere, maybe, but not 36.
So, of course, I'm still a Tesla fanboy, but I call a spade a spade. I think the charging network is improving to the point where you don't have to have a Tesla to alleviate range anxiety. There's chargers, at least in Northern Virginia, just all
Everywhere.
over the place.
Right.
So there are really 4 touch points. You've got your home, which is just basically where you are. It actually shows you
Yeah, I
got
see that, yeah.
AM, FM radio, Bluetooth from your phone, Spotify, Tidal, TuneIn, iHeart, Pocket Cast, and then Amazon Music is just available from Alexa. And then it's got ambient lighting, so you got this light strip here in the middle.
This is a light strip here that they can't see because it's
Yeah,
daytime,
it's
but it's a light
daytime.
strip. Yeah.
And then around the doors and around the edge trim,
Right.
so you can set your mood. They've got 6 built-in themes, and then you can increase or decrease the light intensity, and then you can just turn it off if you're not in the mood for mood lighting. It's got an off button, and then the charge option
Yeah.
is where the preconditioning, also open the charge port, set the limit. I leave it at 90%.
Yep.
And then the bottom of your pilot screen has your car settings. I got a buddy with a Tesla Model S Plaid, and he says, hey, I want to test your acceleration. And I'm like, I ain't about the speed. And he's
Right.
like, let's test it. So we put it in sprint. It asked you, do you want to confirm maximum power and torque? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple of my friends got a real thrill out of it because 800 horsepower does throw you in the back of the seat. We didn't time it, but it was below 3 seconds to get
Really?
from 0 to 60.
Wow.
Which is plenty fast for me. I don't need a Plaid. I don't need a Sapphire. I'm just trying to get on I-95.
Yeah. You don't need to take this car to the track either.
Nope.
Nice as this is.
Nope, not going to the track.
Right. Right.
So Swift is kind of a hybrid between sprint and smooth. I always ride in smooth because I want more range, and it is a more comfortable ride. So steering wheel adjustment, I think Tesla did the same kind of thing on their Plaids because there's not a button or a knob to adjust it. Fold the mirrors, mirror adjustments. And then you don't have to go to openings, the frunk and trunk, and you can lock the vehicle doors from here.
Right.
Glove box opener, it's not a huge glove box, but it's got enough space. It's got that kind of sexy slow motion open, so
What's the hurry? Just
Yeah. Just enjoy it. Enjoy
chill.
life.
Just chill the car. Just chill with the car. Now you've been a Tesla owner.
Yeah.
Had a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Now the Lucid.
Yeah.
What you think? Which is the top one?
So for ride comfort,
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes beats them all, and it's mostly because it's an air suspension,
Mm-hmm.
which it makes you feel like you're floating instead of driving.
Mm-hmm.
So this is dampeners over springs or shock absorbers with springs. You can feel the road, and some people like to feel the road.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of feeling the road. If I hit a small speed bump,
Right.
I don't want to know it's there. It's nothing that I care about.
Right.
So ride comfort, and I think features, the EQS is the number one.
Mm-hmm.
Now tech, Tesla's beating everyone on tech.
Okay.
This has Dream Drive, but it hasn't been released yet.
Right.
So when I'm on the highway, I have to steer myself. And talk about first world problems. My car won't stay centered in the middle of the lane.
Is that right?
And I've become accustomed to that.
Right.
So it will ping pong from lane marker to lane marker, but it won't stay centered. I've been told the next software update will do that.
I just started to ask. They will probably correct that.
Yeah. Peter Rawlinson, the CEO of Lucid, has said that this will be a software-defined vehicle, and that it will virtually be obsolete proof, because whenever there's a new feature, the car's got all the sensors. It's got LiDAR and radar, which is the opposite direction Tesla's going with Tesla Vision. So they pulled a lot of that tech out of their cars. I think it'll make Teslas more price competitive because those components are expensive. But he's got a high-speed fiber network built into the Lucid that is supposed to be able to process several million instructions per second from all of the sensors that come in.
Wow.
And eventually Dream Drive will be level 3 autonomous driving.
All right, John. All right, you gonna take me for a spin?
Yeah, you want to drive?
I'm glad you
hold
asked.
the
Okay. I'm like so scared to drive this car. Good. I can wait. We have another car coming. Look at that. Look at that. What is happening here?
So it sensed cross traffic and it gave you a warning, and the camera popped up just so that you could see the
my.
cross traffic warning. Now, I'm curious to hear your opinion, because I think these drive motors are loud. I can hear the drive motors when I pull away, but I can't. In most of my other cars, it's a silent drive.
I do hear a little bit of the rearing. I hear.
Yeah.
Yep, I do hear it. But again, it's not as well. Look, I'm judging from a 2015, and mine. You would definitely hear mine. And
So,
see, here comes a car, so I
coast
heard
to
the
stop.
car.
Yeah.
And my foot is off the brake, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Right now you're on smooth. If you punched it going up this hill,
Right.
you probably feel like you just fell off a roller coaster. Go ahead, hit it. Oh, you didn't really hit it.
No, I didn't hit it because I told you I'm afraid of deer.
Yeah.
I don't want. In my luck, a deer would jump out, and you know what? I'll be walking home. So.
But that would settle my dilemma. I definitely would be driving the Mercedes from now on, wouldn't I? Also the same on the Mercedes. If you're at a traffic light making a left-hand turn and there are two left turn lanes, the car will constantly squawk at you because it thinks you're trying to turn left or change lanes into another car.
Look at that.
Yeah, so you get dual cameras. So you've got what I call the bird's eye view, which is all of the perimeter cameras stitched together to give you a view from the top of the car. And then you've got the rear facing camera in the glass cockpit. So what do you think?
I think
Is it worth the money? Because I'll sell it to you right now. I'll let you.
I know one thing. My wife would love it. My wife would absolutely love this car.
See, women are funny because my wife hasn't ever driven it. She doesn't have a profile here. She says there's too much stuff to learn.
Well, look at the Mercedes. You had those 3 screens.
I
And you
did.
said your wife never even touched it.
Never touched it.
So I think this will be great for my wife. Now, will it be great for my wallet? No.
You only live once, Mr. Artist.
I know, but
Yeah.
I do thank you for allowing me to drive. This has been an absolute joy to compare the two. And if you would ask me right now which one I prefer, I do like the Lucid.
Well, a lot of people tell me I'm an idiot for not loving this car.
I liked it. I liked it because one thing, it's more minimalistic. I think for me, the Mercedes was too much going on. Now, the drive, fantastic. The regen is about the same. But I like the simplicity a little bit. I'm saying simplicity, this is so complicated, but it's less complicated than a Mercedes. I would spend days trying to figure out all of that stuff going on. All right, John, thanks again for allowing me to drive this Lucid. Thank you for the invitation as well. I came down here last month to check out the Mercedes. Now you invited me back to check out the Lucid, and I'm impressed. Thank you so very, very much.
Artist, I'm glad that you were able to come out, and I hope the rest of the world gets to see both videos. If you're on the fence between a $130,000 well-equipped Mercedes EQS or a $130,000 well-equipped Lucid, I will tell you Lucid wins on range, and I think Tesla wins on tech, and Mercedes wins on luxury. So it's really about buying what you want.
All right. Thanks again.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
All right.